Yo, what's up, world? You're now tuned into the Spiritual Gems podcast. I'm your host, DJ, and today I'm with my special co-host, B is in the building. Say what's up, B.
Hey, people. Hey, what's up, fam? we are finally together doing this thing, which we've been talking about for forever. So I'm excited to be here today.
Yes. I'm excited to do this as well. So for those of you who are new to the channel is new, obviously. Again, I'm DJ. I am into just about everything spiritual, been on a journey for a minute, and felt my calling is to communicate to the world and help others heal while I heal myself. And so that's what I'm here to do. And this is just me walking in my purpose. And so B and I, we've been talking about doing a podcast together for some time now. We're finally getting it done and stepping into our power, which I love. And so today we're going to be talking about 2024 and our predictions for the year using some numerology and some astrology. And so B, if you guys don't know, she has her own separate channel on YouTube, very fire channel, Elevation44, where she talks all things astrology, and other guidance as well. She's really dope. So please, link will be in the description to tap in and follow, and vice versa if you're coming from her channel. So we're super excited to have you, and so let's get right into it. So
Happy to
2020,
be here.
yeah.
Happy to dive into this information. I love spirituality, astrology, and just kind of getting busy with the messages and all of the deeper meanings of things and how we can use that to help ourselves, advance, elevate, go forth, So this is going to be
Right.
exciting.
It is going to be really exciting. So let's start with 2024. So from a numerological perspective, you break down 2024 by adding the digits together, and you ultimately end up with 8. And that typically gives you the energy of that particular year. So last year, 2023, was 2 plus 2, which is 4, plus 3, which is 7. That was a 7 year. So 7 years, as we all know from what we all just experienced and just got dragged from.
We got a spiritual beat down in this
Yeah.
year.
It's
Yeah.
about spirituality, inner spirituality,
Yeah.
things being challenged in that way. And so a lot of people probably found a new sense of spirituality, found themselves. A lot of things were revealed about themselves that they weren't prepared for, breakups, job changes, health issues, everything inner was coming up. So a lot of 7 is about the inner world. And so that came up a lot. And spirituality. And so now we're heading into our 8 year, which represents power and abundance and so much more. So if I were to give my predictions of this year, I would say, 8 is the number of karma. So, and abundance, right? So the way I interpreted that just intuitively, that lets me know that it's going to be very important this year for the energy that you put out. It's going to be multiplied. So if you are putting out a lot of negativity, a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of doubt and fear, you're going to get that back 10 times fold. If you're putting out positivity, hopefulness, abundance, feeling rich, feeling healthy, feeling wealthy, you're going to get that energy back to you karmically in a good way, right? 10 times fold. So to me, when I think about this year, it's going to be a lot about stepping into our power too, with being that um, 8 represents power. And if I'm not mistaken, the I think 8 relates to Scorpio energy and maybe Saturn as well. Is that about right?
Yes, so I just actually put a video out on the numerology breakdown behind an 8 year. And you're absolutely right. I tell people to understand what an 8 year is. You have to understand where you're coming from. So you have to understand what the 7 year is and what you experience in the 7 year. Because all the years, when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 9, they flow into each other and they're designed that way purposely, right? So in a 7 year, it's a cycle. So basically it's a 9-year cycle. And in the 7-year, we experience a lot of testing, to test our resilience, to test our faith. It's a lot of like inner struggles that we deal with. It is challenges, but on a different level. It's not really so much about the external, it's all about the internal. And so a lot of the things that you learn in the 7-year are to, the lessons and the different challenges that come in aren't just there to just aggravate you and just to mess with you in life and just to make your life miserable. It's there so that you can learn certain things so that you can take that and now implement it in the 8-year, because the 8-year is about taking the lessons learned. And now, because an 8-year is fruitful, so it's like taking the seeds of what you got in the 7-year, planting it in the 8-year to see like the crops come to fruition. Now,
Yeah.
what seeds are you planting is important. So in an 8-year, yes, it's tied to abundance. You hear a lot about an 8-year being very fruitful. But the thing about an 8-year's fruitfulness, it just depends on how much you're willing to put into it. If you put nothing into it, you're going to get more of nothing. It is a very expansive energy, right? It is Saturn ruled. So it is coming with responsibility. It's coming with discipline, hard work, accomplishment, all of these things. Saturn is big gains, but only after you do the work. Saturn is not going to give you, it's not like Jupiter energy. Like Jupiter will expand everything, right? Jupiter will expand things for good or for bad, depending on what you're focused on.
Yeah.
But Saturn is only interested in rewarding you out of what you've done. So when you said, hey, it's a big year about karma, Saturn is about karma, right? Like, what have you done to get XYZ result, right? So yeah, it's all of the things that you said. It's absolutely, it's also a year that's fast moving. And in the last year, the last video that I put out about this numerology breakdown of 8, I tried to show the tarot cards, and I showed all the tarot cards that associated with the number 8. And the reason why I show that is because you can see really the breakdown of what the 8 energy entails through those tarot cards. Like the 8 of Wands is fast moving energy. Things will move quickly, right? And you can be on a train to chaos, more confusion, more whatever that is not so helpful to you, or you can be on the train track that's going in the direction of the way you want things to go. So you have to be very, very intentional about how you're using your energy. Not only that, the hard work is not associated with physical hard work. It's here. We're getting busy mentally,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Aquarius energy.
It's Aquarius energy. And I can't wait to kind of get into this year and then the next couple of years, as a lot of these outer planets are transiting and moving from signs, and they're all moving into air and fire. This is a big year of air and fire again.
Ooh.
A lot of mental, a lot of spiritual movement, and a lot of just fast moving energy, because fire is,
when I think fire and air, I think change, transformation.
Exactly.
Burning it all down to move. Right.
So we're coming out of a time where it was more so focused on kind of like the tangible, earthly, physical matters. And we're moving into a time where it is really about what is not seen, what is intangible, right? So it's your thoughts, the ideas, the energy, like that type of thing. Everything is moving into more of a spiritual or like intangible realm. So, and we're starting to see how that's taking shape, even with little things like money, right? We look at crypto. We look at crypto. Crypto is not physical. Can you go touch a Bitcoin? You can't.
Sure can't.
So it's looking at little things like that and seeing how we're transitioning and taking note of that. So if you're trying to hold on to the old, it's going to be a rough time for you. You're going to have to evolve with the new, because this all is it's moving fast. It's going to move fast.
Yeah. And if anything that we should have learned last year is to learn to let go, release control.
And one of the things I'll say is the 8-year will give you more of what you don't want if you don't know what you want.
Mm.
So the 7-year was to show you what's not working anymore.
Yes.
It's to show you
Yes.
that. So if you're still busy trying to hold on to what's not working, it's going to give you more of what you don't want, more of that resistance, more of those challenges, more of, that type of stuff. So it is time to just evolve with the times and follow, where spirit, where your soul is leading you, where it's showing you to move. Even if it's
100%.
scary. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You got to be bold, and eight is about power, right? You think about eight as the executive
Mm-hmm.
of a business. Like that's what the eight energy is. You know what I'm saying?
It's that
So
leadership energy.
that
Yeah.
leadership energy. So it's time for us to take control of our lives, right? Now that we've had this space and time to really reflect inwardly, which I hope that y'all did last year,
Yeah.
and really realize like, yo, this isn't working for me. I need to make some changes. Now you get to box up this year and take control of your life in the right ways, in the
Mm-hmm.
positive ways that will work for you.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to see some of these placements and to see how it supports a lot of what we're talking about. I
Yeah.
love the energy so far that we're talking about because I think a lot of people are having this conversation about abundance and not really giving the two halves of the story. Again, from a numerological perspective, you look at the eight, if you were to put it on the side, it's the infinity symbol. You know what I mean? And so there's two halves, two different sides to this. Like, it's not going to be all great or all bad. It's everything in between. It's all encompassing because everything is about a cycle,
Right.
right? So, and the fact that the eight, again, we talked about abundance, which means multiplication, and whatever energy that you choose to be on either side, you could be in a positive, high vibrational place, or you could be in a low vibrational place. It's really up to you. You have freedom of choice. So hopefully, if you're listening to us, you one of the woke ones, respectively, or you're in the path of trying to figure that out, and you want to, make a change in your life for the better. And so hopefully we can give you this knowledge so you can tap in and use this information for your benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. The eight is perfectly symmetrical. It is
Mm-hmm.
balance. It's the infinity symbol, so it shows the cycle, right? But it also represents the polarities too, right? Like you said, if it's perfectly
Mm-hmm.
symmetrical and we folded it, it would be equal on both sides, right? So
Right.
you always going to have the polarity to balance out the other side. And so balance is a huge word going into an 8-year for 2024. That balance, the inner testing, the inner balance that we were working on last year, now we're
Yeah.
going to have to integrate it with the outer. And so that is and it's a lot about your inner. It's, yes, we're going to see external power and strength and different things happening on a global stage. We're also going to be seeing it happening in our individual lives, but don't forget it's about an inner power activation as well. So we have to use those simultaneously in order for this all to harmonize and work, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's power. I would say, like you said, fearlessness. It's going to move fast at times, so it's going to be important for us to ground ourselves in this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an exciting time, but it is a time to put in that work. It is a
Yeah.
time to put in that work. It's not gonna Your rewards are not just gonna come to you out of the sky. you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta put in that work. And that looks different for everybody, but
Yeah.
that's really the name of the game for
Yeah.
2024.
Thank you for bringing that up and putting
Yeah.
in that work, which you said, relates to Saturn. When I think about Saturn, it's that military parent, that military dad that's like, that big dad energy. It's like, all right, like, get your stuff together, young man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, like
gotta
you better wake up at
wake
5
up.
a.m. and get out there and start running on
Yeah, you know what I'm
in the
saying?
path.
Time to put that work in.
Right,
Ain't no
exactly.
sleeping in bed. Like you got to. It's time to do the work. But if you do the work, the rewards. Oh my goodness,
Yes.
it's about to blow up. It's really
Right,
about to blow up. So let's
right.
get it, y'all. Let's do it. We got this.
Hmm.
So all right, great. So I think it's a great moment to segue into the alignments of the year. So what do you have for us as first major alignments?
Well, like I said, it's a year based off of a lot of air and fire energy.
Mm,
Okay. So 2024, we're starting off with January,
mm-hmm.
January 20th, Pluto
Mm,
moving into Aquarius. All right. So
ooh,
remember I talked about those outer planets, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune. These are your major outer planets. They have generational effects. They're slow moving, so they tend to impact kind of the generation or the collective as a whole more so than the inner planets like Mars or Mercury, right?
Yeah.
These have like long reaching, long lasting effects, and they're felt collectively. And you'll see the collective mind shift with these energies, right? So we got a little taste of Pluto in Aquarius in 2023. It moved briefly into Aquarius in 2023, but it's going in there into Aquarius again. So it's been in Capricorn for a while, just kind of honestly shifting our structures, breaking down our structures. And I want to say it entered in somewhere around 2007, 2008. And you saw what happened from 2008 to now, right? In terms of businesses, the way we do things,
economy crashes.
Yes, like everything. So it almost like just was going through and bulldozing our economy, our structures, our foundations, like anything that was not built on anything solid. It's just kind of bulldozed, transformed, and like was tearing things down, right? And testing, challenging things. So just think of all we experienced during that time. Now with Pluto moving into Aquarius, Capricorn is very material. It's about the physical, right? It's about the physical world. It's earth energy. Aquarius is air energy. This is your so Saturn and Capricorn. Aquarius and Capricorn are ruled by Saturn. So this is still Saturn energy, but it's the other side of the Saturn energy, right? So the Saturn energy that's tied to Pluto and Capricorn was very about the material world, about power and domination from the standpoint of acquiring material things, physical things.
Yeah.
That's that earth energy, right? Now with us moving to focusing on Aquarius or the age of air and that air energy with Pluto moving there, this Saturnian energy is the other side, which is the intangible. It's not the physical stuff anymore. It's a different type of power. It's shifting kind of like to what you said before. It's like the inner power. So it's more so not about like kind of this top-down structures we wanted to create in the past where we were trying to have a few people rule over many or to acquire most of it and everybody else is fighting for the bottom. This is kind of more of an equal spreading of and the acquirement of things is not necessarily physical. It's more of the, like I said, the things that are intangible, right? So it's the knowledge. It's like there's a lot. It's more of the humanitarian energy because it's the other side of Saturn. Because remember, I talked about Saturn being big rewards, but only after you put in the work. So that responsibility, you know what I mean? The focus and the drive and the strategy, all of that leads to the accomplishment. And Aquarius can be very rewarding, but it's through those channels. So it is a different focus. It is work, but in a different way. It's here.
It's here. I love that.
Yeah.
I 120% agree. You know, as you were speaking, what came to my mind and I wanted to add, when I think about the structure, the previous structure, Capricorn is about like organization and business. So top down, power from the top down structure. And I feel like Aquarius is the opposite, right? It's everyone on an even playing field. You know what I mean? You're not above me. You don't run me. You don't run my choices, right? Like because it's also Aquarius is the sign of I know. You know, it's a very mental sign. It's an air sign. You know what I mean? It's also masculine in nature, not male or female, but masculine in nature too. So there's still an aspect of doing there as well. But a lot of this is going to be what you feel in your mind, in your mental space. And when I also think about Aquarius, I think about revolution, right? Aquariuses are the humanitarians of the world, but they're also like, they're like, they're also like the rule breakers. They're about freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freedom. That's the best way I could put it. So it's interesting.
They're little rebels.
Yeah, yo,
Positive
they
rebels, but
are
they're rebellious for all the right reasons, right?
reasons. Right,
It
right,
is
exactly.
it is the fight, the inner fight to make sure that things are like in a harmonious way where it's they almost, and it doesn't, surprise me because Aquarius is also air sign like Libra, but they almost embody some of that Libra energy where,
Mm,
it's all about the
balance in a
equal,
sense.
being equal,
Hmm, hmm,
the
hmm.
honesty, the equalness, like seeing everybody win. You
Yeah,
so yeah, so that's that rebelliousness and that inner fight is for that. It's
I
like
love that.
fair, what's just. Let's see everybody win. Like there's nobody that's higher or lower. Like we're just all
Right.
equal.
We're
Like
all amazing.
we're
You know what I'm
all
saying? We're all
equal. Like
great.
exactly, exactly. And it's the innovator. It comes up
Yeah,
with those ideas. Like okay, I want to say Aquarius is more so of like let's focus on the solution and not
yeah.
the problem.
Hmm.
And so it's quickly coming up with the strategies and the ideas to get us to that solution. It's focused on that and not necessarily always just laser it, oh, this is a problem, and just hammering on the problem, the problem, the problem. It's like, no, like let's bring in a solution and let's fix
Solution.
this,
I
right?
love
We're gonna
that.
see a lot of power shifting um
Hmm.
into the hands of the people on the individual level, and we're gonna see a lot more collective efforts, people like rallying together around things
Yeah,
and fighting. I would like to say fighting the good fight in terms of like having people kind of all be considered, in certain ways. I
yeah.
thought really quickly about what you said about Capricorn
Mhm.
when you were talking about the top down structure. It was like Capricorn is that energy where you have the leader who's dictating to the rest of the people, like you do this, you do this,
Right.
you do this, you do that. And in
Hmm.
Aquarius, it's like, okay, we're all gonna sit at this table, we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do together. You're gonna
Hmm.
have a role, and I'm gonna have a role, and you're gonna, and no one's role is bigger or smaller than
More than
anyone
the
else.
other.
We're
Exactly.
all collectively coming together and putting our minds together to create something much grander than we could individually. And that's the beauty of Aquarius energy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. When I
Yep.
also think of Aquarius too, I think New Age, right? And we think about this era that we're in, the Aquarius age.
Yeah.
We think about technology that's probably going to be coming out this year. We have the emergence of AI that kind of like last year. In this year is really about to take over in a new way. Randomly, just made me think. I saw that Tesla's working on this robot that's like folding clothes. You know what I mean? And so,
Gosh, I need one of those in
you
my
know what I'm saying?
life. I cannot stand folded clothes. So listen, I'm gonna be the first one to buy that.
Yeah, like listen, because this is what the AI should be used for, right? Like
Right.
we think about the fears of the Terminator experience, but like if we use AI in the proper way, it can make our lives easier. And I think one of the beautiful things, just personally, about AI that I love is it's going to be able to make tasks a lot easier, like putting on the clothes, automating your systems, and helping you come up with ideas, helping you proofread. Everything is there for you to use in that sense. So this year is going to be, I would imagine, a lot of that to the forefront, mainstream wise. Everyone's talking about Chat BT. It's to the point now where I'm seeing ads about where you can build a business. People are like charging people to teach you how to use a business using Chat GPT, which is free, which is dope. But you know what I'm saying? So I think about all of that coming in. So what a great way to start the year, right? Like this revolutionary energy, uh, giving us the confidence to say that, like, yo, I used to look up to you, but you're no better than me. You're a human too. You're human just like I am. And by stepping into your power, realizing your value, which I'm sure we'll talk about with Chiron conversation, and how that shows up in our lives, and know that your value, guys. You know what I mean? There's no one better than you, and you're no better than any. We're all on this equal playing field of
We're all
greatness.
humans. We're all here experiencing something together, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's really what's kicking off this year. Pluto in Aquarius. This is gonna be like I said, we got a little taste of it in 2023. Then it
Hmm.
regressed back into Capricorn to finish up some stuff. Again, this year we're seeing that happening again. So Pluto's gonna be in Aquarius until about, I want to say it moves out of Aquarius and it goes back into Capricorn in September.
Okay.
So it goes back into Capricorn for the final time, though. It's gonna go back in there and clean up some things. So
Okay.
we're gonna see some introduction, like we saw last year, into more of the things that are gonna be coming down the line when Pluto finally moves into Aquarius for good, right?
Yeah.
And that's gonna happen in November. So Pluto is going to move in Aquarius for good until 2024, 2023, 20, sorry, not 2024, 2044. We're in 2024 now. So we're like another 20 years. So once it moves back in November and it does its final thing in Capricorn, which is very interesting because this is right around the election season. So I think that this is going to have a lot to do, or influence too, to do with kind of the election, the presidential elections, and the different things that are coming into play there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once, like I said, this year is fueled by air and fire. So things are going to be fast moving. So the technology and the different things that we're going to see previewing now, once Pluto really settles into Aquarius, oh boy. And it's going to be fast. Things are going to happen quickly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is all air and fire, right? So we have to see, like, it's just going to combust. Yeah. And so when you were talking about the technology aspect, yes, this stuff is here to help us. These ideas, the innovation, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is the great awakener. So a lot of things that happen, the shifts that come, it's these downloads, these inventions, these ideas that we're getting. They're not even coming from us. They're coming from somewhere beyond, beyond, right? And the universe beyond. Because some of the ideas, it almost feels like we're getting it from, I don't know, like some type of ancient alien, like, ancient alien information or knowledge that is like zapped into our brains, and we're like, we know how to all of a sudden code exactly what we need to create this beautiful invention or technology. So these are the insights and these flashes of genius that are going to come in. They're not going to come in from us as people. They're going to come in from beyond us, and we're just the mediums or the channels that it's being expressed through.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I just want to add something real quick, just so to empower the people out there. Like, as B is saying, this is going to be a fast moving year. So for those of you who feel down and out, for those of you who like maybe left your job and you're trying to figure it out, you're like, yo, I know that this doesn't work for me anymore. Those of you who are making changes for the better, and you're like, I feel like I need to be doing I don't know, this business. I don't know how I'm going to get it off the ground. Understand, just put the energy and take the steps that you need to make, and the universe will reward you with the speed and the quickness. You can go viral just like that. We're in a viral era.
Yeah.
All it takes is one video, one soundbite, one person, one celebrity to get a taste of your food or to see your clothing line and rock it. And all of a sudden, boom, you popping out here.
Right.
So don't be afraid. Step into your power. This is the year to do that. I'm telling you, as B is saying, the energy is here to help push you and put you in that direction. Use this energy for your advantage. Because I promise you, the other side, the ops, they doing it too.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're using this energy to their advantage for sure. For sure. So that's what we're kicking off the year with, right? With Pluto moving into Aquarius. So we've got to keep our eyes on these outer planets. Okay. So then the next thing that I will say, and like I said, it's a year of air and fire. All of our Mercury retrogrades are in fire signs, except for, so in April, we have a Mercury retrograde in Aries, fire. In August, we have one in Leo, and it regresses back into Virgo. And then in November, December, we have another Mercury retrograde that's in Sagittarius. Okay. So again, our energy, fire represents energy. It's our ambition. It's our fearlessness. It's how we take action. It literally, just think of it as the gasoline to the flame, right? So it's like, that's what this fire energy is. So all the Mercury retrograde, which has to do with your mind and your communication, and all that, again, think about everything that we're saying. It's going to be a lot of mental. It's going to be a lot of mental. So the energy, being fast moving, and you're going to have to be decisive. You're going to have to know exactly where you're aiming your arrow, or you're going to, like I said at the beginning of this, this chat, that you're going to be getting more of what you don't want, because your arrow is going to be going in a direction that you don't want it to go in, because you haven't said, hey, I want to go there. So you have to be very, very intentional. We also have a Mars retrograde in fire, another fire sign. So we're going to have a Mars retrograde, and Mars again is about our energy, our determination, our leadership, our ability to initiate and take action. And that's going to be happening in the sign of Leo and December. Okay. And that's going to be leading us into 2025. Our eclipses this year are all in air and fire, except for one. So in March, we have a lunar eclipse in Libra, air sign. That has a lot to do with balance, fairness, justice, all of that. Then we have another one in April, which is a solar eclipse, and that's a total solar eclipse, and that's going to be in Aries. Again, fire sign. September, we're having another lunar eclipse. This one's going to be in Pisces, but we also have to keep in mind that Neptune is going to be on its last leg of Pisces. So there's something that's happening there, because Neptune's moving into Aries, a fire sign, right? So we got to pay attention to that. And then October, we're going to have another solar eclipse, an annular solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So again, air sign. So when I tell you air and fire is fueling this year, I'm not joking. Everything is pointing to that. So after Pluto moves into Aquarius, the next major thing that we have is that Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. That's the big boy for 2024 in terms of energy. So
Uranus get involved, boy.
Yes. We have Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting in the sign of Taurus. And we, so I mean, you're laughing, so I'd love to hear kind of what's on your mind when I say that.
Listen, so when I think about Taurus, I think about value. You know what I mean? Which is, I think, one of the big themes or empowers for us going into this year, if we're going to use this energy. You got to know your value this year, fam. So there's going to be a lot of, when I hear Uranus in interaction with that, that means there's going to be a lot of changes in how things are viewed or seen, et cetera. And there's probably going to be some things with the weather and stuff too.
Yeah.
Except I'm sure you're going to unpack that. But that's what immediately made me think, like, ooh, values are going to start coming into question, like what we value externally and probably internally too, right? Like, I don't know. Am I in the right area of that?
So Uranus, we just talked about Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. And it is also the one that brings sudden shifts and change, like unexpected things that just, it comes and turns things all. You ever see a tornado come and just kind of through the town? And when you look, you're like, wow, that happened so quickly and everything's upside down. But the way that Uranus works in that regard is it's doing that. It's kind of like, it looks chaotic and it looks like it's just upending everything, but it is to put everything like right side up. So that means it's kind of bulldozing a new way. And with it being in the sign of Taurus, and it's been there for a while now, it's been, like you said, it's been revolutionizing or changing our values, our value system, collectively and individually. It has been, changing kind of the earth. And we can see that in just how the weather patterns have been, how our food has been, how, our money, it rules resources, because Taurus is earth energy. So all of our resources from food to oil, to air, to water, to anything that has to do with a resource, to precious metals, all of that has been, turned on its head, and it's been changed. And like I said at the beginning, like, even something as simple as money went from being very physical and something that we used to collect and have like a tangible value that we used to like, look how it changed over the years to now having credit cards, and then it went from credit cards to now touch to pay, and now you have these cashless systems, and now you're having these like crypto coins and stuff like that it's come from something that was very tangible, like real coins and dollars that you can hold in your hands, to stuff that you can't even see anymore. So it's definitely, this is an example of Uranus moving through Taurus. And so Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It will expand things. So a lot of the things that we have been seeing will kind of, and Jupiter's been moving through Taurus, right? So we've been seeing these things kind of rapidly increasing in certain ways, but once those two touch together, it's like, so this could be as little as seeing like major advancements or changes, like really, really front and center in terms of our money and our resources. We have no idea what kind of information is going to come out around resources or food or different things around that time, weather patterns, earthquakes, different things going on with the earth. Also, like the value system, what do we collectively agree upon that we value as a society, as people, as communities? That's also going to be changing. So Jupiter also can help us, different things take off. Like you've seen, like the crypto market, for example, has been very up and down because that's what Uranus is. It's you don't know what to expect. One day it's up, one day it's down, one day it's left, one day it's right. It doesn't really stabilize anything. So we can see big gains, big losses. We can see a lot happening in that direction. So this also, because Uranus is about revolutionary energy in terms of rebellion and stuff, we can see things pop up in terms of like revolting, or people coming to like we don't want this anymore, and we're gonna speak up and stand up and say something about it. So we could see things happening in that regard. So there's so many things that can go down with the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. So we have to wait and see.
We do have to wait and see. And if we've looked at how the year has gone so far, it's very interesting. I mean, not to get too much with the social media stuff, but we look at like the whole Cat Williams interview and how viral that went, right? Like, speaking of revolution, change, the power structure changing, right? The people are in these so-called cabals or whatever, the gatekeepers, and man, there's going to be a lot of revelations in that too, I feel like. So a lot of truth is going to be put out there that we weren't expecting as well. So with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus all together, man, it's going to be a very interesting time for some good and for some scary things. But I think that just to add encouragement to the people out there, like, yo, just stand 10 toes down in yourself and in your values, and just know that like you're good regardless of what happens on the outside. Like you're straight. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the energy you gotta have.
Yeah, which is why I said grounding is going to be incredibly important this year. You have to ground, because the energy is going to be fast-paced and erratic in moments. And if you don't have something that you're grounded, or some way that you're anchored, you're just going to be blown around in the wind of the tornado, So you don't want to get caught up in that type of storm, But like you said, this is air energy. Air energy is about knowledge and communication. So expect a lot of things that have been coming to the forefront. It's like the way 2023 ended and the way 2024 started, like all of the revelations that were coming out on like these platforms like social media or the news, and you're just like, oh my gosh, all of this has been happening behind the scenes. All of this stuff is going to continue to be revealed. Like people are going to have that energy is going to be expanded upon, because again, this is air and fire, and people are going to have the courage, the determination, the willpower to step up and speak the truth and share knowledge.
Wow, I love that. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about this. It just again reminds me, to this encompassing theme of make sure that you're giving the energy to the things that you want to see happen. So if you want to see revolution and change, but what is the change that you want to see in the world? Do you want more peace in the world? Do you want more love? You know what I'm saying? Or do you want to focus on destruction and separation? Like whatever it is that you want to focus on, that's what you're gonna get. So
Yeah.
again, people, stay grounded, like B is saying, meditate. It's gonna be important, and just be grounded within yourself. Be solid in your values of who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Big facts. Wow, powerful. So what else we got?
So coming down the line, like again with this theme of air and fire energy, we have Jupiter. Yeah, more fire. So Jupiter, again, we talked about Jupiter after it conjuncts Uranus in April, right? In the sign of Taurus. It then leaves Taurus in May and goes into Gemini, air sign. Yeah. And what do we know about Gemini? Geminis are our intellectuals,
yes, the thinkers, communicators.
Thinkers are communicators. Also very scattered too, because there's a lot going on there at once, a lot of ideas, a lot of things. So Jupiter and Gemini is going to expand upon all these things. Communication is going to be big. So honestly, to see with Pluto in Aquarius and Jupiter in Gemini, I don't know, we might be seeing some like major platform or major technology or something around communication.
Transformation around that, yeah.
Yeah, the way that happens, we might be seeing something like that come out during that time. So I wonder like what the next thing is, or in terms of that and sharing information or communicating. So Jupiter is going to be in Gemini. It's going to be important, like I said, to be grounded, because that Gemini energy is very scattered. It is
gone with the wind.
Gone with the wind. And you couldn't be gone with the wind if you are not anchoring. So find whatever grounds you, whatever anchors you, and make sure that you're using that. But it can be a very good time to communicate with others, to get information out, especially for those people who have a calling or whose mission is to communicate with the masses in certain ways, right? Writing, speaking, there's different forms of communication. So, taking advantage of that. But yeah, Gemini is also about the polarity, the duo, the balance, the twins. It's representative of the twins, right?
Yes.
Keeping that in mind as well. So that energy, the energy can be erratic and in moments, but if we know how to capitalize and focus, it can be very advantageous for us too.
I love that. Intuitively, what I think about emotionally that could happen is it probably would be a really interesting time for people who suppress a lot, who don't speak up. You're probably going to be at the point where your soul, the fire has been kind of like lit under you and you just can't hold it anymore. So you're just going to speak out and you're going to start, you know what I'm saying, letting people have it, like type energy. Like,
right.
We're going to be like, that's how you felt about me this whole time. Why you ain't saying nothing? Like, you know what I'm saying? So just be prepared for that, like, you know what I'm saying? Don't fight it anymore. Like the energy supports you. I feel like in that, right? With Pluto being, death, rebirth, transformation, you know what I'm saying? And with Uranus being unpredictable, Uranus, however you're supposed to say it. And then Gemini, of course, being the fact that you're how you think, communicate, air sign, intelligence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Use that energy, Use that. It's a great time to maybe write a book or just, illustrate, draw, sketch, be in your creativity in that sense, because as you mentioned, Gemini, I immediately start to think some of our most brilliant artists are Geminis.
Absolutely.
Lamar and many, many others are all Geminis. You know what I'm saying? So, it's not just, like Bev was saying, it's a form of expression in many ways, writing, singing, rapping, whatever that looks like for you, but use that energy for your benefit. You know what I'm saying? This is how you biohack these energies and make it work for you. You know what I mean? You're not a slave to whatever the astrology is saying. It's about empowering yourself and knowing I can hack this energy and use this to do that.
Yeah.
Like, why not? So I just want to remind people of that.
Yeah. I will also remind people that beyond information and communication, Gemini is also the ruler of the third house, which has a lot to do with your community, your local community. So honestly, the community aspect too
Yes.
can be coming into forefront. How do we rally together as community in order to rise and stuff like that? So I think a community focus and seeing maybe, I don't know, like,
Changes, man.
yeah, see how the community, you know, how we think about communities and kind of what is forming around different communities, how that, you know, that progresses or reveals itself over 2020.
I love that. I didn't even think about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Because like
Like,
as you're speaking, I start thinking that like, yo, you know, for a lot of people who've been on this journey, and you know, sometimes I'm sure a lot of people lost a lot of people last year, you know, through passing away, just friendships ending, relationships and stuff. You know, I don't know what's gonna happen, but if I would imagine if community is the thing, some stuff is about to be shaken up in that area of your life. So, you know, for the good or the bad. So maybe you'll be getting rid of people who have just been leeching off of you and not really the greatest for you. And for others, you might find a new sense of community in a weird way that you never thought would be, you know what I mean, happening. So be open to it either way. You know what I'm saying? Shed the old, bring in the new, baby. Let's go.
let's go.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, right after Jupiter goes into Gemini, it's a little quiet until July. And then we have Mars conjunct Uranus. Yeah.
Mars, 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 Mars.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed one.
Oh,
So, okay, hold on. We have a couple.
okay.
So, also, we have. No, I was right. I was right. I was looking at 2025. Sorry. 2024. Yes, Mars.
Y'all ain't ready for the 2025. That's going to be a separate video.
I have some notes on 2025 here. But yes, Mars conjunct Uranus is the next thing up after Jupiter and Gemini. So again, Mars is going to be in Taurus with Uranus. And what do we know of Mars?
Mars is the Kickstarter. Mars is the igniter to the gas and the fumes.
Yeah.
Like, that trying to blow something up. You know what I'm saying?
Mars is the ultimate hype man. Like, it's like, oh, you ready to burn this building down? Okay, I got matches.
Yo, you gonna let him step on your shoes like that, bro?
Right, you gonna make him step on your shoes? Or no, we gotta go check him now. Or, you ready to start this business? Okay, let's go. You know, like, Mars can be used constructively or destructively. You choose, right? Well, but Uranus is already erratic and unexpected and kind of does its own thing and rebellious. So what happens when you have Mars, who can be an instigator, with Uranus, who's already rebellious? You get more of that, right? So it can expand that. So again, when we talk about rebelliousness in terms of, you know, the people and being fed up about certain things, you know, protesting different things, we can see a lot come around that.
And you said in Taurus as well, right? Is that what you said?
This is going to be in Taurus. Mars.
Oh my God! There goes that the values again.
It's the values, what we're valuing. Again, we're like, hey, I value myself enough or my community enough to not want to put up with this. We deserve better. And you can see stuff coming up around that. Also around the earth, because Taurus is earth energy. So our weather, our resources, our water, our housing, our money. There could be so many subjects that come up during that time where we're just like, we've had it, you know, like we need change. And we're speaking up about that. So yeah, and it's going to put a lot of energy behind whatever Uranus is already doing. So if Uranus is already doing something, Mars is just going to come in and make it even more erratic.
Oh my goodness. That's exciting, yo.
Exciting. It is exciting. It's a little unnerving and exciting all at the same time.
Yeah. So I wanna empower people as they watch this to understand that like some of this can sound like, oh my God, what do you mean like this and that's gonna happen? It's going to work out for our benefit, right? Remember that change, in order for things to change, sometimes chaos needs to happen. Things need to be destroyed in order for new to come in, right? Absolutely. Out with the old, in with the new, right? You can't keep filling your closet if you have a whole bunch of clothes, right? Sometimes you got to get rid of stuff, right? You got to get rid of the
Yeah.
old stuff that don't work, and that's what it doesn't work, and that's the energy that we're in. So let's start to move collectively out of the old ways of doing things that don't work for us anymore. The top down structures,
Mm-hmm.
the belittling people, the not feeling, equal, etc. Not
Yeah.
knowing your sense of value, putting your value into material things, right? Instead of intrinsic value, which has been something I think many of us, especially in Western society, ignore.
Right.
So this is great change. Like I'm so excited, bro. It
Yeah.
might be uncomfortable at moments, but like it's all about how you view it in your perspective. It's gonna be a great year, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all. Just
Absolutely.
remember, we said it first. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We told out here
Well,
first,
we
man.
haven't said it first. A couple people are tapped in.
There's a
Other
couple.
people
There's
are
a couple.
saying it too. But wherever you hear it from, let it take root, and let whatever resonates take root.
Right.
So, that's that. And to your point, it's like whatever you're building, it's no longer because of the old way. The old way has crumbled, right? That
Yeah.
that 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 approach of like we're gonna build businesses so that we can rule and be in power, or I'm gonna go ahead and create this thing just for the sole purpose of like being able to have a lot of money or own this man
Right.
or whatever. That way of doing and being is no longer supported in the energy that is coming in. I'm sorry, it's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now it's really about what am I putting my energy towards to help this place? It's more about legacy. It's
Mhm.
more about what you're leaving here, how you're impacting the world while you're here. So, those things, it doesn't mean that you can't desire to have nice things or want nice things, but those things
Mhm.
are the rewards. Again, Saturnian energy is the rewards for the work that you do. And what
Wow.
is the focus of your work? It can't just be, oh, I just want this mansion. It has to be like, I'm doing something on a bigger scale, even if it's impacting one life. I'm either leaving an experience, I'm leaving a product,
Mhm.
I'm leaving an invention, an idea, or I'm creating or cultivating a community or an energy that people can benefit. How are we leaving this place a little bit better
I
than
love that.
that's
Thank you for
that's
saying
the
that.
energy we're
Yeah.
moving into, especially Pluto and Aquarius. Again, we'll talk about Neptune moving into Aries. We've got like a
Oh,
lot of air and fire energy, and we've got
yeah.
Uranus moving into Gemini. So like, there's a lot that is talking about the community. How are we
Yeah.
helping the whole, the collective?
Supporting each
No
other.
more about
Yes.
the individual goal. The
Yeah.
individual goal has to fit into the collective goal.
Facts. How are we making the world better? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that thing that you're doing, how are you impacting? It's no longer about, oh, I want to be a real estate mogul so that I can empower myself and make all
yeah,
this money and people can praise me. So I'm
exactly.
successful. Like, no, I want to be successful in real estate because I want to provide affordable living for people, or I want to help put my family and empower the people around me with jobs. And I want to, you know what I'm saying? Because that's two different approaches, right? One is self-serving and the other is about others.
Exactly.
So yeah,
And
I love that.
through you wanting to shift your energy or focus to benefit those around you and not just yourself, through that, your reward is that you get everything that you desire in the
Desire
process
anyway.
anyway.
That's
So
a fact. Come
that's
on.
it.
Woo, you about to make me
Like,
run off the screen, dog.
wait, don't get up from your chair. We're not done yet. We got a couple more to go through, okay? So that's Mars conjunct Uranus in July. And then,
Yeah.
like I said, in September, Pluto is gonna regress back into Capricorn because it's gonna be in retrograde. So it's
Okay.
gonna go back into Capricorn, and this is its final little stint in Capricorn.
Final
And
countdown.
it's going to be again on that 29th degree, applying that pressure. The 29th degree is
Wow.
known as the Antarctic degree, right? This is a
Right.
critical degree in astrology. It applies the pressure because it's completing something. It's wrapping up something.
Mm.
So when you're getting to the end of like you have a deadline due for a project or something like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, I got like 2 more hours to get this in or get this complete, and that pressure is applied and it's on. It's like
That's a good
that,
feeling.
okay? So it almost feels like there's a sense of urgency, and like I said, this Pluto is going to go back into Capricorn only from September to November. which is right around the time of the election. So I'm really interested in seeing how this all plays out and how it influences what's happening there, because there's definitely something. There's something going on there. There's something.
Sir, it's gonna be a doozy. It's gonna be a doozy.
It's gonna be. But once it goes back into Aquarius in November, Pluto, it'll stay there, like I said, until 2020. I mean, I keep saying 2020, 2044, 20 years. So we got a good 20 years of a Pluto in Aquarius. So there's going to be a lot that happens in 20 years, advancement wise. Yeah. This place is not going to look the same. I'm telling you, it's not going to look the same. It's
about to be in flying cars in the next.
It's going to look different.
Jetsons coming true.
The next 10 years, the next 5 years, you're going to see how fast, how rapid it moves. So I just want to leave you with that. So that is wrapping up 2024, but I'll preview a little bit of 2025, because in March of 2025, Neptune moves into Aries, and Neptune's been in Pisces for a while now. And this is where we had our big spiritual awakening, and a lot of people came in. Spirituality actually became something that was on the forefront. You never saw astrology being talked about so heavily, tarot cards being talked about, crystals, saging, all of these spiritual things really were like thrown into the forefront. And, you know, whether somebody was tapped in or believed in it or not, they had heard it while Neptune was moving through Pisces. Now with Neptune moving with Aries, that focus is shifting. And, you know, I don't want to get into too much because I want to save something for some more of our conversation. But Neptune and Aries is going to be interesting because this is that warrior energy. It really taps into the individual and your sense of your own individuality and uniqueness. So we're seeing a lot more where Pisces is more glamorization. When I say glamorization, think of like all of the things that we've seen with Neptune and Pisces, like all of the cosmetic surgeries and like the celebration of like kind of like the Kardashians and kind of like illusionary. Celebrated. Whereas Neptune moving to Aries, it's a little bit more natural, realistic. It's about the individual. So people who are truly themselves and just kind of real, not having all of this illusion, who are just like
that's who's gonna thrive.
That is what is going to be thriving more so during this time. Also, it's like that warrior energy I said. It's feisty, it's fiery. So we can see like more, hate to say it, in terms of wars. And the wars may not be physical. They may not just be physical wars like how we're
conflict.
You know, where people are coming with guns and shooting each other down or bombing each other. Okay, that may happen still, but there's going to be a lot of probably like ego wars and different wars happening on different levels. So it can be a sign of conflict too. So that is Neptune. That's a little preview into Neptune and Aries. And also the spirituality, the way we approach spirituality is going to be taking a different approach there. Saturn.
That's, you know, it's interesting for that. Can I just add something in regards to that spirituality standpoint? When I think about Pisces, it's one of the most spiritual signs in the zodiac, right? And we think about the old structure of how we approach spirituality, which is usually organized religion, right? That's what I think of mostly. Then you have this, now Aries is coming in. Aries about the self, ruler of the first house. It is the first of the zodiac, you know, the cardinal sign, big fire energy, right? It's a focus on me, the self. I would not be surprised if, you know, obviously people have been leaving organized religion by the droves. Some have been going back, but that's not here. But I think there's going to be more of a focus of spirituality through the self, through you as a person, versus I feel like I need to belong to a group to experience something spiritual, right? Like a lot of people, and this is not to offend anyone, whatever, there's many ways to align to ascension. But I think a lot of people rely heavily on the sense of community that comes from church, right? I think a lot of people, just based on what you're saying, will probably see even more of a shift of, I'm just gonna focus on me and my relationship with the Most High.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So I could foresee that probably being a huge theme.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with a lot of the information that's being revealed about leaders and people who've been in positions of power. A lot of people are losing faith in that. They're like, I think I'm better off just doing my own. So you're seeing a lot of people and having questions that have been, how do you call it? These inner questions that you have that challenge the idea of what the church or the religion has stood for, and you having these internal questions, not from a place of malice, but really wanting to understand and kind of being like
yeah.
shunned or shot down in that way. A lot of people are, taking into their own consideration, like, hey, like something hasn't felt right in this aspect, and to me connecting within to whatever that higher power, higher source is for you in your life feels a little bit more aligned and feels right and it feels better. So, like you said, going through that individual channel versus having to go through an external channel to get to that, connection
A
is I think
connection.
is going to be a lot more emphasized to your point.
That's so fire. And here's what's
Right.
crazy to me as I'm thinking about it. As we just reviewed the year, all the energy is pointing to this sense of self and focus, intrinsically, and stepping into your power, probably for this exact reason that's going into 2025, where you're going to probably be more reliant on yourself in some ways,
Yeah.
right? So in some ways, we're changing what community looks like, right? We talked about some of those Uranus conjunctions
Yeah.
as well, because you have the Aquarius energy starting things off. We have all these revolutions and changes happening, right? So and then the changing of the power structure, again, top down, right? Organized religion, right? You have the Pope, who's the head Pope, and then you have all these other subsidiary church. All of that is going to be changing. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all happening in a beautiful way. When you really look at it holistically, it's just like,
Yeah.
wow, like we're really collectively ascending. You know what I mean? So my suggestion and advice here, what I will be doing rather, is being in flow and pouring into myself, because holding on to the old structure and the way things were. Oh wait, hold on, sorry. Holding on to the way things were.
Yeah.
Like, the things that are done, fam.
Yeah.
Like, let it go. Just let go. Stop holding on to those people that don't want you to, like, you're begging to be in their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stop holding on to that job that's not serving you and you're miserable, unhealthy, and unhappy.
Right.
Stop holding on to those old ways of dieting. Change. Like, this is a great time for change, yo. With New Year's resolutions and all that unfortunately aren't very successful for many. That the energy of this year is like a great time to really just take the small steps, just keep consistency. You do that, man. Sky's the limit. The energy is supporting you, right? That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. When you were talking about the religion aspect of it,
Yeah.
I automatically got this image
Mm.
that instead of it being like the old way where it was like you had, I don't know, you had some leader up there preaching to the audience and telling the audience something. I
Yeah.
saw it shifting to more of a community-based focus where like you said,
Mm.
the idea of community shifts. So instead of there being some top person up here preaching down to everyone this
Yeah.
message, it would be more like an open circle and we're all sitting around the circle together just sharing collectively. I'm
I
sharing,
love that.
you're sharing something. We're like we all have something beneficial and equally important to share. So we're sharing versus it just kind of being like just this one person, this one pillar coming down to everybody else. So
Wow.
that's the image that I
I
got.
love
Our
that.
sense of community or how we tap into community is going to be totally different for
I
sure.
love that. I think that's so dope.
Yeah.
Because, like, it makes me also think, again, of the top down structure thing about how we as humans, we tend to idolize, whether we're aware of it or not, certain people, right? So, not to get too scandalous, but as you mentioned, we've had a lot of people exposed over the past couple of weeks to months. Um, People who we looked up to as heroes, and we idolize and like, yo, I want to be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like if they could do it, I could do it too. You have no idea what people have done to get there,
Mhm.
right? You have no idea what if they did it with integrity or not. This is no judgment to that, right? But I think what it's exposing, even our religious leaders are getting exposed, who are supposed to be, who we think are holding it down. No one is infallible because we're all human. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one here is perfect. So the idea that you're putting somebody above yourself makes no sense anymore. Focus on you. Focus on love for yourself.
Yeah.
Focus on your own goals. Like, yes, you can use someone to inspire you, of course, but some of us are literally looking at these people and we're like, they're above us and we praise them so much as if they're different from us. No, 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 no. There's nothing special about no one else outside of you, bro. You have a gift, to my brothers and sisters and different out there, to tap into what you came here to do. And that can be as big or bigger than even the people that you praise or the people that you put above you. If you so decide, you just have to decide. So find that value this year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
That's
one of the,
that's, that's facts. Like I
yeah,
love the way you put that. Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. One of the things that we didn't touch on that I would love to touch on that just again reiterates this point and got this from my SAU class. Shout out to Professor Melanie and them. Shout out to the SAU gang. Um, we talked about Chiron being in Taurus. And so in 2023, Chiron was in Aries, if I'm not mistaken.
It's still in Aries now.
Still in Aries. Okay,
Hmm.
so when we talk about Chiron as the wounded healer, a lot of the things that we were triggered about last year was, uh, in addition to intrinsic things or things that we hadn't noticed, was our sense of self, right? You know what I mean? Who we thought we were, what we thought we were, what we thought we had, we thought was important, all that changes. And so this is the next step, I think, with Chiron being in Taurus is like the next step up of that. So again, that value thing keeps coming up again. And so I don't know, like, what is your interpretation of Chiron and its placement this year and affecting us holistically?
Well, Chiron, I believe, is in Aries until, and I don't want to kind of get lost in checking the chart on my computer, but I want to say Chiron is in Aries for most of, if not all of this year.
Okay. Oh, it's still in Aries for most of this year. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it moves off until later. I could check it, but I don't want to take the time out of this,
Oh
this
no, that's fine. We could
podcast to do
episode
it.
2, episode 3. Yeah.
Yeah, but what what Chiron and Aries is doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean it's gonna move into Taurus eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it's gonna put a spotlight on our values, our relationship to the resources, the earth,
Right.
money.
Material things. Yes.
Yeah, it's gonna put an emphasis on that and our worthiness. I think our
Yes.
worthiness is really it's gonna
Worthiness is a better word.
focus.
Thank you. Yeah.
But right now, while it's still in Aries, it is
Yeah.
pressing the button on our authenticity
Mm.
and our ability to still be individuals in the whole. So, like, when I say that, we can get very lost in being a part of the group, a part of the collective, kind of that shared vision, shared voice, shared mind thing, right? But
Yeah.
it's still
Sheep
important.
mentality.
Right, right.
Herd
But it's
mentality.
important to remember that we are all different for a reason, and the group is made up of individuals. It's individuals who choose to come together and make up the whole, to make up the collective. It's not about merging. It's about still staying true to who you are, being authentic. You're like I said, when Neptune moves into Aries, you're gonna see the individual being celebrated, like individuality being celebrated, independence being celebrated, and not independence in the sense that I don't need anybody else, but like knowing that I'm not codependent either. Like, I choose to pour into myself, like you were saying, and my cup runneth over so much because I poured into myself so much that it spills out into everybody else. Like, just being who I am and showing up for me and being authentic and true to who I am.
Authenticity. Yes.
Authenticity is going to be so important. People who are showing up as themselves and being real in the good, the bad, the ugly, the emotions that are high, that are low, the good days, the wins and the losses, who are showing it all, that's what's going to be celebrated. Those are the people that you're going to start seeing being kind of pushed to the forefront. So that is, and Chiron has highlighted our wounds on what makes us feel like we can't embrace those parts of ourselves. So it's really been pressing on that. It's really been pressing on that, and lessons have been coming in, and different things have been showing us, again, align to your authentic path, again, align to your authenticity, again, stay true to who you are, again, you don't need X, Y, and Z, all you need is you. Mean that you're disregarding anybody else or anything else, and you're not a part of the community, and you don't want to be a part of the team. You are a part of the team, but you are individual on the team.
Right. You are your own self.
Yes.
And by showing up in your true power and
yes.
authenticity, you contribute to the group in a greater way than when you suppress yourself and go along just to get along.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Everyone's different, because your perspective and ideas, the path that you walked, nobody else is going to walk that path but you.
Yeah.
There's no other DJ.
Facts.
So be you, and be you greatly. You show up as your full self. You don't have to conform to my thoughts or what I think, or what you think I want to hear, or what I want to see. Just be you, because what you're bringing to the table is drastically different from what I'm bringing to the table. But when we put it all on the table, man, look at all the stuff we have. Look at everything we have. Yes. And that's what Pluto and Aquarius is going to show us, is that when we're so strong as individuals, when we come together, what happens collectively is going to be so crazy in a good way. In a good way, right? It's going to be crazy in a good way, because we're going to see what we can finally create. And when you talk about this energy, it gives me flashbacks of like conversations or different discussions or lectures I've heard on the ancient civilizations, and when they've gotten so advanced, like this is like what leads up to that advancement.
Golden age. We're about to head into the golden age type thing.
Yes. When you talk about the technology and stuff and the different things that existed with the ancient civilizations, and they were so far advanced, and it's like, how did they get there?
Right. We're still trying to figure out how they built the pyramids
and
this particular rock from hundreds of miles away. They couldn't have just dragged it. How many thousands of tons? How many tons? It's just crazy. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that's what's going to happen as we continue to focus and get more fine-tuned within. We're going to see that when we come together as strong individuals, there's no stopping us collectively. There is no. Yeah. So when I say this is going to look like a drastically different place over the next 20 years, it really is. It really is. Yeah.
And it seems, just based on what you're saying about that fire and air energy, like Spirit is just ushering in this stuff quickly. You know what I mean? So
it's gonna move
hold
fast.
On to the seat of your pants, guys.
hold on, guys. Right. So I'm gonna just wrap really quickly and say, so you got Neptune moving into Aries in March of 2025, and it's gonna stick around there until 2039, right? Then you have really shortly after that, in May of 2025, Saturn is moving into Aries, and again another fire sign. Yep. And then in July of 2025, you have Uranus moving into Gemini, and that's going to be there until 2032.
Yeah, what's with July and Uranus, bro? Chill. That's my birthday month.
Uranus is going to be moving into Gemini, so that's going to be moving out of Taurus. It's been doing that long stint in Taurus, Gemini, so there's going to be a lot of changes there. And then, in August of 2025, we have that Saturn and Neptune conjunction. So I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to get into that. I want to leave other things for other conversations. But when I say between 2024 and 2026, it's gonna be
Let's go.
like yeah.
Let's go. So that
2025 is gonna be a big year for a lot of shifts and movements and
I
changes.
love
Yeah.
that. As
Yeah.
is in 2024. So hey, get used to change, man. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think this is a perfect place to wrap up.
Yeah.
Just some final thoughts that I'd like to share real quick is just again, just as we wrap, the themes are the themes, right? So get used to change. Um, stand 10 toes down in your value and self-love. Don't be afraid to start whatever spirit is giving you or the divine is giving you downloads to do. Some of y'all are being pushed to get that podcast out. Start your business. Y'all are dragging your feet. The energy is here. You just heard B talk about all this air and fire energy pushing you. Like you could blow up. You could blow up overnight. Like this is what this energy is about. So don't be afraid. You can do it, man. Just stand tall in yourself. Love yourself unconditionally. Be your authentic self with Chiron and Aries still going on. And I think you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna be a great year in general. What you got?
Yeah, no, I will double down on the authenticity part.
Yeah,
And again, it's those individuals who are brave enough to be themselves and show up as themselves that are going to see the biggest gains. And
yeah.
a part of showing up as yourself is listening to what you're divinely called to do as an individual, whether that be create art, whether that be
Hmm.
help people, whether that come up with ideas or help people organize or help take care of people or, give energy to people, cook for whatever that looks like.
Yes,
Follow that path. There is no
yes.
other person who came here to walk your path but you. And
Facts.
so it's important to stay in that. It's important to stay grounded during this process because there's just going to be a lot going on everywhere. So it's important to ground yourself, remind yourself why you're here, what you're doing, and that you got this. It's going to be a great time. It really
Yep.
is. And balance that inner strength, inner
Balance.
power,
Yes.
pressing upon that and not getting into the mindset, the victimization of mindset of things happening
Mm,
to you, but happening for you. A lot of
for you.
that
Hmm.
happened in 2023, if they were challenging, if you're still experiencing challenges, try to see beyond that particular thing to what it's showing you, what it's teaching you, what it's paving the way for. And yeah, it's gonna be great. We're gonna rock it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that, yo. That's
yeah.
dope. Well, B, where can they find you at? Please tell the people.
Oh, everywhere. No. Um, Elevation44 on most social media platforms. So you can find me there on YouTube. Mainly is like my main. I love long form content, but also I'm on TikTok, Elevation44. I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on Spotify if you want to listen to that audio only content. And I just
Hey.
got on Amazon. So
Oh,
Amazon Music. So yeah, so you can find like the podcast there too. So yeah.
ooh, it sounds like you are in abundance energy, my friend.
Yeah, well, you know what? Everybody has a different place to go to get the information, so I want to try to provide that in as many spaces as I can.
Wow.
And yeah,
That's
that's it.
beautiful. I love that, yo. For me, y'all, right now, y'all can catch me on this channel here on YouTube, the Spiritual Gems Podcast. You know what it is. And on IG at DJFest340. And more to come as I expand into what this is becoming. But thank y'all for tuning in. I hope you got something from this. Peace, y'all.
Bye.
Oh, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget.
Oh, and we will leave the information for our platforms down
Yeah,
in the description or the
in the
comments.
description below.
All
Bye.
right.